Hello, welcome to this week. How have you been? All right? Weather's changed, doesn't it? So this week I wanted to talk about something that I see quite a lot with some of the folks I hang around with. And it's this challenge with taking time out of the office. A lot of the small business owners that I talk to say that actually taking time out of the office is like a real double-edged sword, particularly if they've got a team. I was once in a networking meeting and listening to a small business owner who just literally come back from a couple of weeks leave. And they felt like there was no point being away. Any restorative impact of their time out of the office had been, sort of evaporated within seconds of stepping in the office once they realized that, things that they thought would get done didn't get done. Things that they thought would get done a certain way didn't get done the way that they thought. And actually they had to spend more time kind of unpicking and, kind of fixing what hadn't been done in their absence. And it just left them feeling utterly frustrated and a bit fed up, if I'm honest with you. And I'm wondering how many of you listening, have kind of been in that situation where actually taking time out just ain't worth it. And the problem with that is small business owners, particularly if we are, the figurehead of our business, the brains behind our business, the lead echelon, if you like. If we're not taking time out, then we're going to get burnt out or break down. And that's far more damaging to our business, not to mention to us, the personal cost to us. So I thought what I'd talk about this week is, what can you do to kind of stop that I daren't take leave, or there's no point taking leave, or I'll take leave, but it'll be horrible when I get back kind of thing. And I've got a couple of ideas that I'm going to share with you. The first one is I want you to think Cockup, not conspiracy. And by that, I mean, sometimes when I listen to small business owners talk about their team, there's a sort of a little bit of resentment or a presumption that, they've taken the mick in some way, cats away, mice will play and all that. And I guess I urge you to think more about Cockup, not conspiracy, and think, well, maybe they tried to do the right thing and didn't know how to and daren't disturb you when you're on leave. So just kind of muddled on as best as they could, or, just didn't bother just in case. I'm wondering if it's worth you spending a bit of time up front before you go on leave and co-creating the plan for their success. And what I mean by that is, you having in your mind what needs to be done, and rather than taking a slightly more directive approach and say, here's your 10 list of things to do when I'm away, maybe co-create what they think that they could achieve in your absence, what they'd be confident to take on. And what I notice is when we go through that co-creation process, and I see this certainly in my mediation, is often people are more willing to share with you, because of that co-creation, what they're frightened of or feeling a bit underconfident about. And also we can get super curious about, what would you need in order to be successful to do these things in my absence, because I really need you to do them. So by having a conversation rather than here's your 10 list of things to do, I'm wondering if we might get behind, what might be preventing people's success, but also you get an opportunity to kind of be a bit more explicit about what you want done and how you want it done and why you want it done that way. Because maybe in that list of 10 things for them to do while you're away, some of that how and why is missing, and maybe that's why they don't do it the way you think. There's something for me about kind of recognizing that the first time you go away, maybe it's not going to go to plan. So what's the fallback plan or the plan B? Who's their in emergency break glass go-to person? And that way it doesn't have to be you. Maybe there's a friend of yours in a similar business, or a non-executive director that you use, or something like that, that they can go to, the staff can go to when they're feeling a bit, nervous or anxious. I was wondering as well, sometimes I like to invite leaders to kind of borrow from other walks of their life. So I'm wondering, if you're a parent, how did you kind of prepare the ground for the first time you left the kids on their own? What did you do? What could you borrow for this sort of circumstance? I remember the first time mum and dad leaving, us on our own, and them kind of insisting that I knew like where the emergency numbers were and I knew their phone number and all that kind of stuff. Kind of that was their plan B. That was the break glass and emergency kind of stuff, and where everything was and what we could and couldn't do. So we were, really certain about what being on our own looked like. So to summarize then, I guess I want to kind of normalize it, because this is something I hear a lot in business. So this isn't about, you being a bad leader because this happens to you. This happens to lots of small business owners that I come into contact with. I think I would encourage you to kind of have a go at, fixing it or addressing it, because, your health and well-being are at stake if you don't. Have a go at co-creating the conditions for the success and getting curious about what they would need in order to be successful. And maybe borrow from other walks of life that might have some relevance. Now, if any of this has kind of spoken to you at any point, I am always delighted to have a complimentary hour with anyone who'd like to kick around some of these leadership topics. So do get in touch if you'd like to. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.